Serving the community for 6.5 decades.
Just in touch with what's going on.
1350 AM, 93.9 FM, WRWH.
We appreciate you joining in with us for candidate forums this evening on WRWH, White County Chamber of Commerce candidate forums. Chamber of Commerce working in cooperation with White County News and local news radio WRWH to present these forums, doing them live on the radio here and streaming Facebook and getting out several different ways for you to pick up the information shared by each of these candidates. All right, next up, it's District 4 County Commission candidates, Craig Bryant and Barry Vandiver. And as we did on the others, guys, give you an opportunity for a 2-minute opening statement, and then we will go into some question and answers and then a closing statement for y'all. Again, we didn't check in with see who wanted to go first in the opening statements, but Barry, if you will, let you go first and do your opening statements. And
all right. Sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce myself first. My roots are deep in White County. They stretch through the generations of my family who have called this place home. The legacy, my great-grandparents moved here. They actually homesteaded. The government gave them land in White County. That's how far back these mine go. And I've had an enduring connection with this community all along, and I love the community. And like names like Black, Mize, Crumley, Abernathy, Sims, Cantrell, all these names resonate with familiarity, as they should, because most of them were kin folks 5 years ago. I mean, everybody, half the county was kin to me before 2020. The familiarity has instilled me with a profound understanding of values and aspirations that unite us all. From a young age, I possessed the innate curiosity about mechanics of this world around me, and often found tinkering and troubleshooting. Even as a child, I displayed liking deconstruction and reconstruction of objects, most to the chagrin of my family. Mom said she knew that it was time for me to get out of the crib when I disassembled it. So, yeah, these early experiences instilled in me the love for problem solving and the drive to understand and improve the world. My journey has been one of setting ambitious goals and navigating the unpredictable paths towards that realization. Through perseverance and unwavering focus on the end result, I forged my own path to success. Now I aspire for White County to stand as a beacon of excellence, inspiring neighbors, counties to emulate our achievements. Having spent 3 decades at the helm of a lumber mill, I am intimately familiar with the challenges facing small businesses and enterprises. The trials and tribulations that they face, I have been through them. Early on in my career, my wife would say, she'd say, "Are you ever going to get a check?" And I say, "Yeah, one day I will." But we had 15 employees, and they've come first before you. And so that was part of the early learning that I went through. And we operated for 30 years, and I sold it in 2018 and just kind of moved back to the house. I was over in Toccoa. And I kind of, that commitment required for success, it took concepts to get there and a lot of drive.
All right. Sorry, but your time is up on that. Forgot to remind y'all that we do have your 2-minute timer back here. Kayla's doing the timing and got the lights, so if you can watch the lights, and that'll let you know when the yellow light comes on, you can wrap up there. But thank you, Barry, for that. All right, Craig, get your opening comments or statement.
Dean, thank you, and Chamber and Paper for putting this on. And this is my name's Craig Bryant, and I've been privileged to serve as commissioner since January 1st of 2003. I got elected November 2002, and I used to own the car wash down there on the south end of town. And I decided to run, but to give you background on that, I was born in Marietta, married to Sherry, wonderful wife for 13 years. We have 4 grown children and 9 grandchildren, which are just a joy of our life. But when I had, and I've been in business all my life too. I'm not from here, but when I moved to Cleveland in '97, or opened a car wash, Cleveland reminded me so much of the way Smyrna used to be. I mean, Smyrna and Cobb County used to be in the country. Marietta used to be in the country. You go up at the Canton Highway, and it was all country. And like I say, when I moved here, everybody knew everybody. You know, you go in any of the restaurants, which most of them is not here now, you knew virtually everyone in there, and that's what brought me to this community. It reminded me so much of Smyrna. And I had a gentleman tell me one time at the wash, he said, you got to be here for 20 years before you're considered a local. So I've been here for 27, so hopefully I've made that local spot, even though I'm not from here. I love it, and I ran because I did want to make a difference. I'm a people person. I've always been in business all my life. We started out in the parts business in '68 when my dad bought Smyrna Auto Parts. Then went in the car wash business. Now I'm in the insurance business. I've always dealt with people, and people just want somebody to talk to. Most times, once they vent, they're happy. But it's just, I have more people call me from my district and out of the district, which I represent the whole county, not just District 4. You represent everybody. But I just enjoy the job of helping people, and that's what this job's for, is to help people.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, Craig, we're going to start a question and answer sessions here. And again, you've got 2 minutes to answer a question and watch the timer, the lights here and everything. And we're going to basically the same questions that were asked the other candidates in District 1 to get you to answer those questions and your particular views on that. Starting off with, how do you see the role of County Board of Commissioners as it relates to municipalities of Cleveland and Helen? And Craig, you start.
Well, when I went in office in January of '03, the city and the county, I'm not saying was at odds, but we all had our different views, I could put it. And over the past 20 years, which we've had administration changes, we have really gotten along. I mean, it's like, the only bad thing about going last, all the good answers were spoken the first round. But the city and the county, city of Helen, I mean, the cities are the driving force of this county. People come through White County to get to Helen, and we have always worked here in the last several years. I mean, we've just had a good relationship. It has really improved over 20 years, but we don't have any really issues with the city. We went that 60-40 split and did the lost 60-40 or 20-60, and they got 20%. We raised that up, and so it's, other than just, like I said, we just have good relation. That's about all I can really say on that. Okay.
All right. Barry, how you want to respond to that?
Yeah, cities are kind of like children of the county. The county wants to see them succeed, and by them succeeding means that the future of the county succeeds. So I think it should be treated as children, as family. We should work with them to try to make sure that they are successful in everything that everything the cities want to do, that they are successful. And I also don't want to leave out, the ones that's unincorporated. I want to make sure that they're part of the voice too. But the cities, they're our children. We've got to make sure they succeed in a big way. And I'd love to see the county help them any way they can, and make that success achievable.
All right. Thank you. All right. Next question, and Samantha's going to ask that. And Barry, we'll start with you on that one.
Okay, Barry. If you could change one thing in our zoning code, what would it be and why?
Well, I think that we need to get zoning back to the community, and not necessarily the county, choosing what the community wants. The community should have a stronger voice in what they want over the county, and that way they've got to live with it in their community, whatever that zone may be, whether it's commercial, whether it's short-term rentals, whatever. They're the ones that have to live with it, and I want it to come back to the community. They need to have more control. They need to have more control on the planning board, the different things of that nature. The zoning part has to take care of itself. We have to have zoning. This rock we're living on is not getting any bigger. We've got to learn to get along, and the more people we have, you have to have more zoning to make sure one don't encroach on the other. So So just common sense is where zoning needs to be. It needs to be a common sense thing, and it needs to be given back to the communities that it affects the most.
All right. Craig, your response on that?
Well, when we started implementing this policy years ago, we had, I don't know how many public hearings that we went through to get where we're at now. And it's an evolving document. I mean, people are always coming before us that was classified as commercial, but they were residential. So we've corrected a lot of issues over the years. And we had some pushback that some people didn't want any land use whatsoever until after we got it. And we've kept out a few things in town, or not in town, but in county. And afterwards, I've had more people come up and thank us for putting it in. And of course, when I moved up here, I never forget, I had a customer come down one day and he was mad because the chicken house next door smelled. But I told him, well, you built the house beside the chicken house. And he said, yes, sir, I did. So it's just, but a lot of things we're just still country. But like I say, that document's an evolving document, and we're always having somebody with either some issue, and we address it as we take it. Would I look at the short-term rentals again? I mean, I'm not against it, but as y'all know, I have voted against as many as I have for. I probably voted against more than all the commissioners put together, because 90% of them is on the east side of town in District 4. So I hear from the people, the neighbors, and there again, you get one bad apple in the bunch, and that just upsets it. But it is still, it's an evolving document, and it can be looked at any time or be addressed on any situation that comes up.
All right. Craig, hold on there. I'll give you the next question here. Start off with, if elected, what 3 steps would you take to put our county on a firmer financial footing?
Well, Dean, I was told years ago by a previous county manager that the county can't be run like a business, and I told him it could. And he didn't. I said, you just sit back and watch, because there again, I've been in business all my life. It's like Barry and predecessors sitting here before. I take taxes and the financial statement of this county serious. Every time we have to go up on taxes, I go up on myself. And I've repeated that several times. When I went in office, the millage rate, you can't hold me to the exact number, it was around 6.8, and we had to go up $1.25 for 2003, 2004. And right now it's sitting at, there again, can't hold me to the exact numbers, 9.5, 9.6. So if you figure over the 22 years, taxes in White County on the county side has only gone up roughly 1/8% per year for the past 22 years. But on the kick side, though, the assessments have doubled and tripled. I mean, I have been reassessed 3 times in the last 6 years at my own house. So, there is a drawdown. Of course, everybody you talk to when they talk about taxes, but get back on the finance, but we're in good shape. We look at that budget tight. I mean, we didn't go line by line this year, but we just have started this morning. We sat in there 2.5 hours and went over it. And I can say the commissioners that I've sat with now and what I've sat with in the past, I mean, we are financially secure, and we do watch our money. We don't frivolous spend the money, because there again, that's part of my tax money also.
All right. Barry, your comments.
The budget, I've always said, you set a goal that you want to achieve. You don't know how you're going to get there necessarily, because the pathways never is the way I think they are. I always see a different pathway, and doors will open from different directions when I'm stopped and don't know where to go. And usually it leads to that goal, but you got to stay focused on the goal. And the goal would be to set a budget to where you want to be at, and make that budget. And a lot of times to do that, you have to itemize things as whether it's roads or whether it's water, whether it's people. You have to itemize all that down and set goals for that, so that you accomplish them in a way that you come out with a good budget. And I don't the assessments have been the same. I mean, the millage rate has been close to the same, but the assessments have gone up. I know my property taxes have went up about probably 5% in the last 3 years, and it's a lot. And I know the county's doing the best they can, but we need to set goals to bring it back in line with the rest, just with the rest of the people.
All right. Samantha's going to give you the next question, get you started on that.
Okay. Barry, farm wineries in our community have proven to be an asset to tourism industry, agriculture industry, and our quality of life. With the development of a brewery as well, would you support the development of a distillery in the county? Why or why not?
Personally, I don't drink. None of my family does. But I don't hold it against anybody that does. We just take that choice. As far as the distillery, we have the wineries and we have some other things. But I fall back to the communities, to White County. Put it on a referendum. If that's what they want, I'm for it. It's majority rules in a democracy, and so that's where I would be at. I would be on a referendum if they wanted to do that, so that everybody could say, at least I went out and voted no. I wasn't for it. I mean, I've heard that with a lot of things, or I am for it, whatever. But that's where it would be at with me.
All right, Craig.
Barry stole my answer. I'm like Barry. This job is not to do what I want to do. It's what the people want. And, if the people vote on it, then I don't have an issue. I don't drink either, or my family doesn't either. I've upheld that for a long time, but in '88 woke up one morning and I decided not to do that anymore. And I don't begrudge anybody who does. I don't judge them. That's just an individual choice. But I don't know if a quote distillery like that would ever come in the county, because there again it goes back to what Commissioner Goodyear said. We don't have sewer here in the county. It's just in the cities, and I could see it possibly come in the city. And it's my understanding to have one of them with the volume they do, that they will have to have sewer. So unless someone can do their own sewer package plant and do it, I don't, like I said, I don't have a problem let people vote on it, but I just don't see it coming anytime soon until we get sewer.
All right. Okay. Gregor gets the next question to start off there. Infrastructure, it plays a crucial role in the success of business. What is your strategy for improving and maintaining infrastructure in our county to support the needs of small business, such as the transportation needs, and how would you fund the program?
Well, that's another good question, and I don't really have a good answer. It all goes back to sewer. You got sewer in the city, Cleveland, you got city sewer in Helen, and the county. I'm probably going to jump ahead on one of your questions here, but I don't foresee the county going in the sewer business, because I've spoke with some other commissioners and councilmen over the years, and the city of Cleveland can testify to this. I mean, it takes 10 to 20 years to get permitted, and the cost it would be, and even in the water lines on the water authority, jumping ahead on that one too, it costs so much to put water lines in, and with the EPA and EPD rules, and we're sitting at $1.5 million draw at the water authority. Well, if we have a drought today and every person that goes on the water authority line called in, we don't have enough water to supply everybody. I mean, that's just the bottom line. So and there again, it all goes back to sewer, and how you would fund that, I don't know, because I know it would be expensive to go in a sewer plant business. Years ago, it was between $15 and $20 million. So how much would you have to charge for sewer? I know what I was paying at the car wash, but that was part of being in business, though. So you're using water, and you got to. But the city was one that's going to pretty much, in my opinion, is going to control that.
All right, Barry, your views on that? Comments?
Well, the infrastructure, and I consider the roads infrastructure as well. When we pave a road, we need to set aside funds to repave that road, because it's about 7 years it's going to have to be repaved. And so I think before we assume paving road, we need to have a plan first to finish these roads, pave them when they're wore down, and have the money set aside to do these projects. Sewer, I don't think the county needs to get in the sewer business. We need to partner with the cities to do any sewer expansion that may be done. We can partner with them. They're far ahead of us in that situation. So I really don't think the county needs to get involved in that. As far as water, it was supposed to be countywide, but it's just like you say, it can't get there. So that's just the way the infrastructure is on that.
Okay. All right, Samantha, you have the next question for Barry.
The expansion.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, I got.
Do you support the expansion of the White County Water Authority to include sewer services? How will those services be funded?
Personally, no. If it was on a referendum, the voters would have that choice, I guess. But I don't think the county can afford that. I don't think that's an affordability for the county. All you have to do is look at the city of Atlanta and see what they're going through right now. Any kind of sewer system takes a lot of upkeep, and we are not an industrial county. We are a retirement community. Basically, we do have some industry in this county, but as far as industry based, we're not. We are more of a retirement, family oriented toward the south. Just things like that. The county is not set up for any kind of industry, and I don't think that bringing any kind of sewer system in countywide would help. Now citywide, I'm all for funding it. We run the one. Well, actually, we didn't. I said we did. My daddy was on the commissioner board when they run the one to the Hulsey out 129. They run it out there so they could get some industrial. And back then we didn't have a lot of people here like we do now. It's not really a retirement community as much back then. People were looking for jobs closer around. But things have changed up in White County in the last 5-10 years than they have before.
All right. Thoughts?
I don't foresee the water authority ever going into sewer business, which there again, the water authority is a totally different entity from the White County Commissioners. We have absolutely no say over that. We don't fund that. They don't fund us. It's just totally separate. When it was done in the late 80s, early 90s, which I spoke with several of them, and the word it got out, or we were talking, they were just mentioning it one day at a water authority meeting, and it just, the expense, it's just more than what you've got an aging plant. Eventually that's going to have to be upgraded, and that's going to cost several $1 million to do that. But I don't see the water authority ever going in the sewer business. I know I answered that question a minute ago, but I just don't see it.
All right. Okay, thank you for that. Next question, and Craig, we'll let you start off with that, is how do you envision collaborating with business, educational institutions, training programs that prepare a skilled workforce for White County?
Well, we've always worked good, and there again, I know I'm repeating some that's been said before, but TMC and North Georgia College, and I know the high school, and Barry can speak more on that because he was on that board. You can, when I was coming up, you couldn't leave. And when you had 12th grade, you stayed in 12th grade. You couldn't do your last year in college and you get the college credits. And we've come a long ways. Can we do more? Yes. But there again, I'm not that educated on the education side other than just as it comes up, it's addressed. And that is a big thing because, like I say, we are losing a lot of our children because of the better jobs we're paying in Atlanta.
All right. And Barry?
We can educate our kids to do things that we want them to do. But the truth is, there's a stigma about going to North Georgia Tech. A lot of times there's a stigma there to be a plumber. I know plumbers making more than doctors now. I know welders making more than other doctors. That one needs to go away, and the kids, we need to push more for them to go get a technical job that they can do hands-on and enjoy that rather than just all go to college. College is fine. If that's what you want to do, I'm all for it. My son went to Kennesaw State. He graduated engineer. That's fine and dandy. My daughter's going to North Georgia Tech. She's not going to the college to do that, and that's fine and dandy too. I'm all happy for both of them, and I think they'll both be successful at what they do. My wife teaches CTAE at Mountain Ed, and they work really hard trying to develop programs to send kids on to future jobs and future places. And the school does as well, but that's more of a school function. The county helping with that, all we can do is verbally support them and make it to where whatever job they choose in their life, as long as they love that job and want that job, that's the job for them. It's not a job for anybody else, not to be ashamed of. It's the job that they want and they work. And if it supports them and their family, I'm proud.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Samantha, you've got that.
Okay, Barry, how do you plan to support local health care providers and facilities to ensure they can meet the needs of our community, including addressing any shortages in healthcare services or specialties?
It's become so hard to be a doctor now. They have to go to school for 8 years. They have to do a residency for 8 years. The time they get out to go to work, they're already have a big family, and it's really tough on how to get there. And until you can get enough doctors, you can't expect the small communities to have them, because we don't have the money or the people to hold them all. We can try our best as a county to try to get them locations, places to build, and give some incentives for that. But it's something that's going to kind of have to take care of itself in the long run. We got a good ambulance service. They do a very good job. Our hospitals are fairly close with Lumpkin and Hall and Habersham. I don't think White County wants to get in the hospital business. Habersham, it took them a long time to get out of it, and I don't think White County wants to be there. I understand we live in a senior community and they have needs, but I think our best investment for that would be in emergency services, so that we can be more prepared in the ambulance to take care of these individuals before they get to the emergency room more. Other than that, I don't see the county being able to help in the healthcare industry at that place.
All right, Barry, thank you. And Craig.
Can I just second all of that? Barry's right. I mean, and don't forget about malpractice insurance either. I mean, when you get a doctor, when they go, I know one former commissioner boy went to school for, I think, 17 years as he got out of high school to be a doctor. And it's just, of course, it's paying off now. And back to the ambulance service, we do have a good ambulance service, but, we're tuning at the county. I think I want to say it's around $1.4 million this year for ambulance service. Of course, when I moved here in '97, they're again coming from Cobb County, maybe several hospitals in Marietta. And think here we're one with county in an area that doesn't have one, but I don't see how we can help that either. I'm just going to have to agree with Barry on that one.
Okay, that's fine. All right, here we go. Next question. Craig will get you to start off with this particular one. How do you plan to encourage the development of diverse housing options to meet the needs of our community while also preserving neighborhood character and quality of life?
Well, we've talked about this on the commissioner board, and right now, you got to have an acre to put a house up. And I know Commissioner Goodyear mentioned the tiny houses, and we've talked about that a few months ago, that if someone did want to put a tiny house community in, that we would be open to look at that. But it's tough. I mean, an affordable housing, when they start and build a 1,000 square foot house and it opens at $319, I can only see a 25-year-old couple's got a kid trying to get a $300,000 loan or even a $250,000 loan with today's interest rates. And housing is a big thing. I mean, people ask me, we need affordable housing, but when you can only put one on an acre, unless, somebody wants to come in and, like Terry said, do a sewer plant and build 3 or 4 or 5 on one lot and have 50 acres and build 75 homes and have their own sewage plant, then you got to get somebody to take it over. So affordable housing I'm not bucking the question, but it's a big thing. It is.
All right. Very good. Okay, Barry, your response?
As Craig said, that's the $1 million question right there. If we could figure it out, we wouldn't be talking about it, I guess. The deal is, housing's going to take care of itself. I don't think the government can necessarily step in and help the housing situation, simply because it's hard for the government to figure out who deserves the housing at that price. I mean, you're setting it by a price that's really imaginary. It's not the real thing, because houses are set by themselves, by the value of them as they go. I do think the value will fall some in the next 10 years or so, but I don't think it will go up real fast. I'm not against affordable housing at all. But as I say, who gets it? What are they doing? There's a lot of questions there with that that I don't have. At this point, love to look into it, but I don't have them questions for affordable housing.
All right. Thank you. All right. We got one more question. Samantha's going to pose that. Barry, let you start with her.
Okay. Child care is a significant concern for many working families. How do you intend to work with local employers and child care providers to explore innovative solutions such as employer child care programs or partnerships with community organizations to support working parents and promote economic stability for families?
The county is not in the child care business, and I myself have an adult child that has to be taken care of, and I stay at home with him. My wife works. Yes, she's the worker. She's the breadwinner. And I stay home with him most of the time. And so child care is a problem. I don't think it's something the county can fix other than giving incentives to maybe facilities or something of that nature. Bringing in maybe some technology for them or something. The child care in anywhere nowadays is become more expensive than you make by most of the time. So it's really, like I say, the government can only help with buildings, with the places, with the land, with the tax breaks, maybe things like that. But as far as child care itself, we don't get into that. That's school. School has from 3 years up, on that.
All right. Craig.
Just again, I'm like second Barry. The government, White County's never been in the child care business, and I don't see how there's anywhere that we can do or other than, support. I know my two daughters, when they had their babies in child care and they was working, I know what they were paying. Of course, they live in a neighboring county, and it was almost feasible, like you said, to stay home than it was to pay. But I understand the government, I just don't see the government in a role of child care.
All right. Okay, that ends our section of question and answers, for this evening. So we're going to give each of the candidates time to do a closing statement. You got 2 minutes to provide this with that closing comments you have for it. And we started with Barry with opening. So Craig, you get to start here.
I just want to thank everybody for their time. It's been my honor and privilege to serve White County for going on 22 years. I would love to do it again. Like I said, I've tried to be responsible in the budgets and people's tax money, because like I say, when your tax money is my tax money also. When we go up on myself. So we are prudent with our funds. I've been involved in a lot of projects over the years. Like first thing, the new jail, which is over 10 years old, it's paid for. We built the new park and rec, which I'm really proud of. Closed in the courthouse years ago. Moved Cindy into the old educational building, and built Cindy a new building up there at the tag office. And I've been blessed to be involved in a lot of stuff over the years that Splash has taken care of. And the county has grown. There's so many new people that's moved in, and it's just, but my job as commissioner is to help people. And that's how I look at the job. When I ran years ago, my daddy told me not to make any promises you can't fulfill, son. And I remember that. And I made 3 promises when I first ran. One, I promised I'm going to let them vote on alcohol, and I did. And second, I promised I'd let them vote on a 5-man board, and I did. And the third promise was that I wouldn't promise them nothing else. So I have fulfilled my promises over 20 years ago, and I'm not here to promise you anything other than do the job at the best of my ability and use common sense that I've always applied in my life with businesses and represent the citizens of White County.
All right, Craig, thank you. Barry, your closing statement.
I've been on a lot of boards. I've served on school board. I've got a lot of awards. And as a commissioner, really don't mean anything. It's about the community. I'm a community man. If they want it, I want them to have it. Or if they don't want it, I don't want them to have it. I'm all about bringing the local government back into the community, whichever community it may be. All the communities that Craig represents is not the same. they're all different in their own way, and I'm happy with that. They got a right to be. And I want them to represent themselves more from each individual community and not from somewhere else. But my vision for White County is one of preservation and progress, where a small town charm and natural beauty remain untouched by encroachment of the big box stores and the urban sprawl. I'm committed to safeguarding the unique character of our community and ensuring future generations inherit the county that is both prosperous and pristine. As your county commissioner, I pledge to leverage my experience and my values and my unwavering dedication to serve the best interest of every resident of White County together. And what I'll say is I promise to be good stewards of your money. I know where it comes from. I've been there. I know exactly where it comes from, and I promise to be a good steward of it. That's it.
Thank you very much. All right, both of you again, our candidates for District 4 County Commission, Craig Bryant and Barry Vandiver, here in the second segment of our candidate forums for today. Thank you both. And we'll remind you, coming up tomorrow at 6 o'clock, we have the candidates for Chairman of the White County Commission Board, Travis Turner and Chris Dorsey, and also candidates for Sheriff of White County, Rick Kelly and Robert Moore. And so I hope you'll join us tomorrow evening for that particular candidate forum. Thank you for this evening. I'll ask Samantha, you got any other closing comments or anything you want to make?
No, thank you very much.
All right. And Kayla, anything else you want to mention? Okay, from the Chamber of Commerce. All right, we again appreciate you joining us here on WRWH for this candidate forum presentation, the White County Chamber of Commerce, White County News, and WRWH. And we now join our regularly scheduled program in progress.